up, guys? Today we're going to be working on my favorite part of the whole bike because the OEM seat is awful. So we're going to end up looking at the Mustang seat. Is it worth it? Okay, so that is the OEM seat. It is, I don't know, as soft as a rock. It is on the stand, so the measurements are going to be the difference. It's not going to be the actual height of the seat, if that makes sense. Okay, so basically where that sits is, say, about 28. It's actually probably 27 and a quarter. So 27 and a quarter. To remove it, you're going to need a 5 mil. Then it comes up and then back. So basically the difference of the two, like the OEM is not very nice. And then of course the Mustang has like this little backrest kind of thing. Now Mustang's screws are actually going to be using a 4 mil. And that just comes in. And that is the Mustang seat. So it does kind of, like, there's a lot more cushion to it. Where the OEM one, there's really not much. Okay, and that will be 28 3/4. So it does add about 1 inch. Okay, so basically I have the OEM back seat. Mustang does have a upgrade for that. I don't actually have it. I don't normally have a passenger on. I do it from time to time. That's why it stays there. Kind of like the look of it. Corbin has a seat. It's called the Gunfighter. Now the Gunfighter kind of comes up and then kind of covers the back. You can do a passenger setup on that as well, but it kind of makes the whole, I don't know, I guess it kind of looks like a cockpit, right? So it kind of comes back and then it gives you a bit more of a backrest. I don't really care for it. Not kind of the look I like. I do like the Mustang. The Mustang seat does fit well with this bike. Kind of gives you a little bit more space for your tuchus, right? And then it has like this backrest here, right? So let's go for a ride. And we'll pick on it a little bit. Alright. So, like, it does kind of move you forward a little bit. It's not too bad. I am 5'6", and it works quite well for me. So as far as the way your seat goes, it does lift you up a little bit, but like, I mean barely anything, right? It's like an inch. Now if you're short in the legs, it's gonna kind of make you, lift up a little bit, but the Rebel is so small, or the seat is so low, that it really doesn't matter to have a 1 inch higher, right? So both of my feet are on the ground. Like, I can put them both on the ground with my knees bent. That's how low the Rebel is. And again, I said, like, I'm only 5'6", so I'm not a tall guy by any means, right? One would say vertically challenged. It does kind of give you a little bit of like, I don't know, like cushion side to side, I guess. Personally, my ride is about an hour one way, so I'm pretty much on the bike 2 hours a day in the summer. It is pretty cold out right now. It's only 2 degrees. We had a nice warm kind of section. So like, I originally had the Honda, well, obviously you get the Honda seat. I had the Honda accessory seat as well, and the problem with the accessory seat is it's exactly the same as the OEM Honda seat. It doesn't really give you much more comfort because all it is looks, right? When I drove it the first hour, I knew for a fact I was getting rid of that seat. That seat is not comfortable at all. I would say that's probably the worst part of this bike, the OEM seat. Now, the 2020, they did upgrade it from the previous generation, but it's still not very good. When I ended up looking at seats, there wasn't a lot of options for the Rebel itself. There was a lot of like cheaper kind of quality stuff, and from what I seen, I've seen a couple YouTubers and stuff like that talk about that. And the cheap quality ones typically are very cheap, right? And they don't last. You get them right out of the box and they're all like the stitching is torn off it. There's rips and tears, and it's a problem, right? So having a nice seat on the Rebel is a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. I've seen a lot of people say that the stock is actually decent enough for them. I don't personally like it, but hey, to each their own, right? The Rebel itself, if you ended up getting the 2020 or up, the suspension was upgraded as well. So, you know, they are finding ways to kind of make this a little bit better. I've had road trips with this bike specifically for... Oh, hello. So I ended up going on some road trips with this bike specifically for like a 6-hour road trip, right? My wife wanted me to go and get something, so I'm like, all right, take the bike, right? The Mustang seat is good. 6 hours is a pretty long time to be asking, you know, that seat to kind of hold up. At the end of it, you know, your legs cramp up a little bit, right? And your butt does feel a little bit of aching and stuff like that. But with the OEM seat, I would just dread that, right? The price of the actual Mustang Tripper seat, it's expensive, right? I think they're what, $500 Canadian or $400 Canadian, something like that. If you can find a deal, get the deal. But in my opinion, you know, if I was to do it again, I would buy that. I would pay that money. It's well worth it, right? It keeps you on the seat a little bit longer, right? And it's comfortable, right? It gives you a nice kind of point of contact to the bike. Like, grips are important, seat is important. Any contact point that you have on the bike should be something that you'd be willing to invest a little bit to. You do want to be as comfortable as you can. It is a bike, right? But, you know, it is what it is. I'm actually curious, what do you guys have? Like, does anybody have the Mustang seat? What is your thoughts? Another thing that I'm actually interested in is if you have something other than the Mustang seat. If you have something other than the Mustang seat, let me know in the comments. I'm very happy with my setup. I pretty much have this bike the way I really want. Let's start off in second. Woo! Because I'm a new biker. What the hell? Ew. Mary would love that house. Anyways, if you like the channel, if you like the content, give me a thumbs up and like and subscribe. Till next time, guys.